Hi, welcome back to the weekly edit. This week I'm going to be editing one of my images captured in Namibia a few years back in Capture One Pro. Very much looking forward to it. Personally, I think Capture One's RAW engine is absolutely phenomenal. I always find myself having to do less to my images when I edit in Capture One. Word of warning though, I'm not the world's Capture One expert. Like I mentioned in my original episode that started the weekly edit, I'm going to be editing images in different programs and learning as I go along and sharing it with you guys. So let's jump into Capture One and learn together, shall we? Okay, so here I have an image captured in Namibia, like I mentioned. This was at Deadvlei. It's one of the most amazing areas to capture sand dunes and those famous petrified trees. So, like I normally mention at the start of a weekly edit or one of my editing sessions or at the start of the editing process, I like to visualize what I want to do to the image. So in this case, if we just quickly enlarge it, I'm going to press G to head into the editing module of Capture One. So here you can see the image is slightly overexposed, and basically what I want to do here is actually end up with a black and white, more or less of a fine art edit. So what I want to do with the color edit is just enhance the different colors, especially the sky, bring that down a little bit to enhance the blues. With the dunes, maybe move them a little bit more towards the warm side. But all in all, nothing majorly complicated. Just to basically getting the image back to what I saw when I was standing there. So, in Capture One, you have tools along the top here, and you also have the different panels on the left here when we move through them. In Capture One, you also have layers, which is very useful, as you can do different edits on different layers and then change the opacities as well as activate and deactivate them. So I'm not going to run through all the tools in Capture One. I'm just going to run through the ones that I want to use here. I'm just quickly going to collapse all of them so they're back. So this is basically the default workspace in Capture One. I don't like to modify workspaces or customize workspaces in the different editing programs too much, because I find them it gets a bit confusing moving between them. So I like to adapt myself to the program. That way, even when you update things, everything stays where it is. So so along the top here, you have library, you have tether. We're not doing any tethered shooting today. Shape is for when you're doing maybe architectural photography. You can use it to adjust the correct perspective, horizontal and vertical lines, etc. Styles are like presets in Capture One. I'm not going to be using any of them. And that actually reminds me as I see that there. So this image was captured with a Nikon D700, which is a full-frame digital camera. Quite a few years old now. 12 megapixels if I recall correctly. Importantly, I'm going to be doing most of my editing in the adjustment panel here. You can see the histogram at the top, a little bit towards the right, which is reflected in the image a little bit not the more on the hot side, but overexposed or brightly exposed. So on the base image layer, I'm going to make some adjustments. I'm going to go to exposure. I'm going to bring down the exposure slightly. Another thing I like about Capture One is the sliders. When you move them around, I find their articulation, how they say, I like the way they feel, the way they slide, the amount of adjustment relative to the amount of sliding you have to do. It's really pleasing. Brightness, take that down a little bit as well. The dunes are already looking better. In Capture One, the contrast slider is actually quite useful, unlike some other programs. I'm going to crank that up a little bit. And then when you in Capture One, you can, this little upward left facing arrow, when you hold the Option key on the Mac and you click on it, it temporarily resets that, and then when you let go, it goes back to the edit. So you can already see not massive amounts of adjustment, but already a big improvement in the image. Okay, so moving along swiftly, dynamic range, highlights, shadows, whites, blacks. Highlights I'm going to bring down slightly for the sky, like that. Shadows I'm going to bring down as well because I want to darken these areas here. Whites I might bring them down a little bit actually. Blacks I'm also going to bring down slightly. So again, so you can see, not big adjustments made, but good progress made. So levels, leave levels alone for now. Turn curve, I'm going to go to the Luma turn curve so as to not affect any colors in the image. I'm going to do a very light S-curve, and I'm going to take the black point up just a tad. So quickly looking at the turn curve before after, not a big adjustment, but just enough to make a difference. Okay, then in the color editor, this is one of Capture One's strong points. You have the basic color editor, the one for skin tones, which we're not going to use today, and the advanced color editor. Now currently it doesn't look like there's anything going on here. All I want to do is adjust the dune, so that's going to be orange yellows, and adjust the sky, which is going to be the blues. So you can actually sample the colors by clicking on this little eyedropper tool. I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to sample an area of the dune here. And then you can see the color wheel populates with the selected color range. If you come down here to view selected color range, what it should do is just highlight the colors in the image that are selected, and everything else should be in black and white. So I'm going to click on that. And as you can see, the dunes nicely selected, and the sky is without color or black and white, which means the selection is properly done, properly made, thanks to Capture One. What you can do as well is actually increase the selection range here by moving these selection points around. Just quickly visualize that again. Perfect. Okay, so what I want to do with the dune is I want to saturate it slightly to bring out those oranges a bit more, a bit much maybe. I want to darken it slightly, a little bit too much. Okay, switching it on and off, you can see. Just bringing back those nice oranges and yellows a little bit. Maybe a bit much on the saturation side. I'm going to take that down to there. Then, next color I want to sample is going to be the sky. So, populates just below there, blues. Let's quickly visualize that. Looks good. I'm going to expand that a little bit, quite a lot, to include most of the blues. It shouldn't bleed into the dune. I'm going to take that away from the green a little bit. Increase the range there. Okay, yeah, that looks good. So this almost acts as color masks. You can actually create masks from these by going up to the little three dots on the color editor module and say create mask layer from selection. In this case, I don't think I'm going to do that. I'm just going to adjust them as is here. So I want to decrease the exposure there, bring down the sky. I want to increase the saturation, bring the blues out. What you... no, I'm going to leave that alone. Yeah, okay, bring down the brightness there again. So let's see what that did. Yeah, perfect. That made a nice adjustment to the sky. So let's just quickly see before after the color editor. So that was the original edit after basic adjustments. and that's after the color editor. Perfect. Color balance, I'm not going to do any color grading. So, wait, actually, let me go back to the color editor, just leave the dropper tool alone. So, if you zoom into 100%, and you can see here, I mean, the rendition of the raw data in Capture One is absolutely mind-blowing. I really, really like it. So, in terms of sharpness and clarity, maybe a little bit of clarity. And I'm going to do this a little bit, overdo it. See what that does. This adds a nice little bit of clarity to the image. Leave it at about 15. Dehaze, I'm going to leave alone. Vignetting, I'm going to leave alone for now. While I'm at vignetting, that reminds me actually, quickly going to go to shape and head over here to lens correction, enable that, and you can see there's a little bit of vignetting from the lens originally used. I'm just going to increase the fall off. You'll see the corners get a little bit lighter. If I overdo it, you'll see it getting very light, like that. So I just want to get rid of that vignetting a little bit, just like that. Okay. So now I am actually going to create a layer. Well, actually, before I do that, let's crop the image. Come up here to the crop tool. It's on the original aspect ratio. I'm just going to enable it like that. And I'm going to just crop these little shrubs on the bottom off, just like that. And then take this down. Also, just to get rid of the left-hand side shrubs there on the dune. That looks good. I'm hit enter to commit. Now all I want to do is get rid of some of these smaller, not imperfections, but if we zoom in there, it's just little, yeah, some of them are probably imperfections on the dune. So I am going to create a new heal layer, Capture One. Zoom into 100%. I am going to grab my healing mask tool. I'm going to decrease the hardness to about 25. Flow and opacity can say 100%. And then I am simply going to get rid of these imperfections slightly by brushing there. What I like to do is just do a few, because it doesn't give you, when you stare at them, you quite quickly see where the healing's been done. But if you ignore it a bit and then look at the image as if someone looking at it for the first time, as if you are someone looking at it for the first time, you don't see where the healing was done. So if I just mouse off there, you can see that one could actually be changed. Okay, that one, that little ridge there, do that one, and I'm going to increase by using the right bracket key, also that, brush over that, brush over that, and then at the top here do that, do it like that, do it like that, do it. Okay, so then when we deactivate the layer, you can see did a pretty good job. That's not obvious at all. Same down here. Nothing too obvious. Perfect. And full screen. There we go. Just getting rid of this distraction that draw the eye. And while I am staring at the image, I actually see a few dust spots up here. So I am going to quickly, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to go back down here, and I am going to go to dehaze. I'm going to take it up all the way, because that then you just see the dust spots a little bit better. Capture One actually has an automatic dust spot removal, but I think we'll just do it manually in this case. Then I'm going to go back to the heal layer, and then I'm just going to use my healing brush, if that's what it's called. you draw heating mask. You get confused between all the terms between the different programs. Just going to brush over that, and that did a pretty good job. So let's just quickly pan across the rest of the sky here. See what happened there. That looks pretty good. Okay, now I'm going to go back to my base layer, double click on dehaze, take that down. Okay, and then in Capture One, you can, if you press, you can choose between full before and after or split view. I prefer the split view, and then you press the shortcut Y, you get the before and after slider. So that was where we started, and after this edit, that's where we finished. Pretty good. And I think my color edit for me is pretty good. I mean, I don't want to modify the image into something that's completely different to what was actually there in real life. But this is what I saw with my eyes. This is what I wanted to enhance in the edit. So that I'm just going to select the hand here quickly again. So that's going to be that. I might add a quick vignette while I'm here. Just a little bit of a vignette. Yeah. And then if I zoom out, what did I do there? Can't I zoom out? That's weird. Okay, never mind. Okay, so then like I mentioned originally, I actually want to get to my black and white edit here. So I'm going to press G to go back, and then I'm going to create a new variant. No, sorry, I'm going to clone the variant so that it keeps the edits, because that's where I want to continue from. So I'm going to clone the variant, then I'm going to double click on it or press G, and now I am going down to the base layer, in Capture One. So again, like in Lightroom, two ways. You can choose to convert it to black and white via the black and white module, or you can go to blah 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 blah. Where am I? Color editor, level fill. Why am I so confused? Because it's an exposure. Or you can just desaturate the image and then carry on from there. Let's just quickly see the difference. So that's desaturated. Let's just reset that. It's very similar actually. Anyway, let's do it via the black and white tool or module. So I'm going to enable that, convert the image to black and white, and now we can play around with the colors here. There are some yellows and oranges in the image that we know, so I'm going to take the yellows down to darken down the dune a little bit. Greens, then not a lot of, so I rock that back and forth, doesn't really have an effect. The cyan and blue are going to be in the sky. Take that down a little bit. I want to darken the sky. See that's happening there. And there's not going to be much magenta anywhere, I don't think. So if we just quickly... okay, then as with my black and white conversions in the other programs, I am going to go back to exposure. I'm going to increase the contrast quite a bit. I'm going to take the brightness a little bit down. And I am going to go to the high dynamic range and take the shadows down, take the blacks down, and then I'm going to head down to dehaze. Actually no, I'm going to go to levels. So in levels, it's your black and white point and midtones. I am going to bring the black point a little bit in and bring the white point a little bit in, and then in the midtones just take that a bit towards the right. So if we have a quick before and after, you can just add a little bit of contrast, but not an extreme way. And then the sky, I do actually want to darken separately. So I'm going to create a new fold adjustment layer, and then I can use a linear gradient. I'm going to drag that down there. That I'm going to press M to visualize mask. Let's see, maybe because I haven't done anything to it. Oh. Oh, this is my computer thinking. Yeah, okay, sorry about that. I was wondering why that was. Okay, so with the linear gradient, pull down over the sky, just narrowing down that transition area a little bit. So now I press M and see the mask. I'm going to take that a little bit more, actually take that out, just like that. Press M again, and then I'm actually going to take down the brightness just to have a bit more of a gradual effect. You can see the difference there. If I zero that out, take down exposure, it's quite aggressive. So just take down brightness to darken the sky a little bit. And now. And then I am going to create another fold adjustment layer, and this time I'm going to take the gradient tool again, but I'm going to do it reverse over the dune. And what I want to do here is, let's just visualize the mask, take it up a little bit more, is actually add a little bit of dehaze to the dune itself, and a little bit of contrast, brightness, and highlights for whites. Okay. There we go. And highlights are set. Too much. Take it easy. Take it easy. Okay, so let's see what that did to the dune. Perfect. Yeah, you can see just brought out a bit of this highlight area here, and increase a bit of the contrast in the shadow areas. So if we take this last two layers away, so that was the original black and white conversion, the sky and the dune. And if we go before after, it's kind of original raw file and black and white edit. What I always like to do, go back to base image layer with the black and white conversion, capture one, go to the refine module, panel, whatever the name is, and add a bit of grain. So I'm going to zoom to 100%. Just going to take the grain. I'm going to do it quite a bit so we can see the effect it has. Even at that much, it's a very, very pleasing grain in capture one, in my opinion, compared to other programs. So I'm going to take that down to about 20 maybe. So let's just quickly, that's before, after. So very nice. Okay, a little bit of a dark spot there, top left, so I might go back to the shape and just adjust the fall off again. There we go. Just like that. Yeah, I think that is going to be good. So we have the color edit, black and white edit, done. Great. Okay, so any questions, stick them in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed that. I certainly did. Always a bit of a learning curve in Capture One, but always fun. Always fun. So yeah, thanks for following along. Thanks for sticking with me. I will see you in the next one.